I dug in. I started reading because I knew about the health benefits of sourdough.
Yeah.
But the more I read, I realized that sourdough doesn't have to be sour. You can make it anything you want it to be.
Hey everyone, Lisa Gustafson. On this episode of the Foodies Show, we have a really fun guest. Stephanie is with me, the owner of the Rustic Rise Sourdough Company. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Super excited to learn about every product that she has to offer, but also you're going to want to watch this whole video because she's going to fill you in on a lot of information that you may not have known about baking, cottage bakeries, everything that you do that makes your product amazing. So this is going to be a really good time. Before we do get started, the Foodies Show is presented by Vista Pros Heating Cooling, keeping your home comfortable so you can focus on great food and great company. Vista Pros, local, reliable, dependable. All right, Stephanie, I have to tell you, everything here looks so good and so inviting. And if you've ever purchased anything from her, I will tell you, you definitely will have never been disappointed. Before we get into all the products, talk to me about exactly what is a small scale, like the cottage laws and the bakery and how your business operates.
Sure. So I am what you call a micro bakery. I operate from home under the Arizona cottage laws, which I am so grateful for. It's amazing. It allows people like me, a former teacher, now stay-at-home mom, to do what I do. I work part-time from my home. I'm open. Well, I operate on Thursdays and Fridays. Thursday is my dough day and Friday is bake day. And I can deliver fresh products that way. I don't have to have a storefront. I'm not a brick and mortar. And so micro bakeries, they're amazing and they're fulfilling a need across the country.
They certainly are.
We don't have a lot of bakeries in this country. Not like, at least in France where I used to live, or in Quebec. And
you probably had some good ones there.
I did, definitely. And that's what got me into doing this. I lived in France for a year, in Toulouse, and I lived in Quebec City in Canada. And they had such amazing bread. I've always loved bread my entire life. Yes. But that crunchy crust, that crackle that you get when you grab a fresh loaf, not right out of the oven, but after it's cold, you can't find that at grocery stores. So when I came back from France, I was always disappointed about not being able to find good quality bread with few ingredients.
Right.
And so fast forward a few years later, and I said, I'm just going to do it myself. And here we are, 2.5 years.
And so you got a sourdough starter? And
yes.
How did you say, you know what? What the heck?
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Start me from that whole process because that's awesome.
So actually, a very good friend of mine who got me this little baguette necklace. It's hard to see, but there's little flashes, little score marks in this bar. She got me into it. She owns a local bakery, Sarah Macarons, which are also popular in France. She was doing sourdough before me, and she said, "Can I gift you a loaf?" And I said, "Unfortunately, I don't really like sourdough." And she looked at me like, "Are you crazy?" And I was just uninformed back then. I didn't know that sourdough is a method of leavening. It's not necessarily that taste profile that gives you that pucker.
Okay.
And so, funny story, I tell this a lot because, I said once upon a time I don't like sourdough, and here we are. So she kind of looked at me like, okay, I was going to gift you a loaf of bread from my heart, and you don't
want it.
Yeah.
To heck with you.
So then, I dug in. I started reading because I knew about the health benefits of sourdough.
Yeah.
But the more I read, I realized that sourdough doesn't have to be sour. You can make it anything you want it to be. You can make a sweet sourdough loaf because you don't want that pucker with something sweet like cinnamon raisin bread.
And you do make
a big variety of products.
Some massive flavor profiles.
Yes. So,
okay.
I think it's really important to know that sourdough is a method of leavening. Yes, it can be sour. Some customers like that, but not everybody does.
Right.
So a friend got me into it, And I've baked my entire life, but once I discovered baking bread,
Right.
which for me was always really intimidating. Out of all the things that you can make in the kitchen,
Sure.
bread is intimidating. You know, if you don't get it exactly
easy to
right.
mess it up, right? I would have been like, forget it.
And with sourdough, it's 3 days worth of work. So if you mess up at any one point,
like-
that's it. So I gave myself a challenge because I didn't start with yeasted bread. That's never been something I've been interested in. It's not my thing.
Right.
So I got right in with sourdough. And there's so much potential to fail, like I said, at all the different variables.
Yeah.
But I'm a researcher. I learn everything there is to learn.
And your background is in education.
Yes. So I definitely think that comes into play. So I had a lot of success right off the bat. And so I had encouragement. I think a lot of people give up with a new hobby because...
Yeah, you have to start over every 3 days. If you mess it up, I'm like, there's 72 hours wasted,
Exactly.
right?
But because now I'm a stay-at-home mom, I'm no longer in the classroom, I have time on my side.
You do.
And that's what I tell customers. If you don't have 3 days worth of, babysitting, I can do that for you.
You do. You do a phenomenal job. And a lot of people may not know, too, a lot of the health benefits in that come along with your line. I know a lot of diabetics who I reached out to you, right?
Yes.
And I said, hey, do you have this? I need the whole grain, and right.
So
talk to me about the health benefits.
So let's talk about diabetics first of all. So a lot of people, even not diabetics, are told, oh, bread is awful. Stay away from bread. If you're going on a diet, that's the first thing you cut out.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. Bread is actually really good for you if it's done right. So
we all want to hear that.
Yes, and that's what I want to talk about today, is doing things the right way. It might not be the fast way. The slow way is usually better. So for diabetics, let's take this artisan loaf right here. It takes 3 days to make that loaf. You can certainly eat it right away when you get home. A lot of my customers, it doesn't even make it home. They start tearing into it in the car.
I see when I drive by.
People ripping into it.
What are these people doing? And they really are. They're in their car like they can't even make it to the car.
I love hearing that because that brings back memories of me going home with a baguette in France, eating it on the street.
So true.
Anyways, back to diabetics. So if you go home with this and you're diabetic, this is mostly, it's a white loaf. So it is going to have a higher glycemic index compared to this one, which is freshly milled flour. These two are the same, just different shapes. This is what I call an artisan loaf, and that is formed by hand to maintain its shape. And this is in a loaf pan. So if a diabetic goes home with a loaf like this one, then what they can do to lower the glycemic index of that loaf is first to freeze it, which sounds difficult to take, right?
Because nobody usually wants to freeze
fresh bread
either,
right? And so you don't have to, but if you do, freezing a loaf like this, whole, don't have to cut it up, it doesn't make a difference. It lowers the glycemic index 31%.
From freezing it.
Just freezing it, doing nothing else to it, just popping it in the freezer.
Never would have known that.
And then it gets better. So after you freeze it, you thaw it, you put it on the counter for a few hours or, just overnight. If you then toast it, it further lowers the glycemic index to a total of, if you freeze and then toast, to 39%.
And that is on these white
that's
loaves.
Bread in general. Yes. But, this is something that usually diabetics might stay away from because it's a white loaf. It's not a whole grain loaf.
Right. Generally speaking, they do.
But it lowers the glycemic index 39%. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Only freezing.
I want to do a test on it.
Yes. I would love somebody to do a test.
We've got just the person.
Good. I don't do any glucose monitoring, but this is a study, a published scientific study that took place, and I can give you the details if you'd like to read up on that.
I'm excited. We're going to do a follow-up on that. And then this one right here is, these are the white.
Yeah, so this is the same ingredients, just different shapes. A lot of people prefer a sandwich shape because it's what they grew up with. It's good for school sandwiches, for the toaster. But my favorite is the classic artisan loaf. You can't go wrong.
You can't.
If you have the right bread knife.
This is crazy too.
Yeah.
How many of these, I have to ask, I have to cut you off because I need to know, how many of these are you baking a week?
Each week. So my total numbers, I always strive for 100 loaves, whether that's any 3 of these or a baguette. But then I do additional products each week too. So that is my goal all the time, but it can be anywhere from 60 to 100. It fluctuates like any business.
Wow.
Yeah, but I make
That's a
sure.
lot of loaves, and it's gorgeous.
Thank you.
How do you make that happen?
So that is a wheat stock, and I do that on all my artisan loaves because I feel like it's just the classic, most beautiful loaf that I form by hand to maintain its structure. And so I think everybody should go home with that. The white on there, I have to tell you a funny story real quick.
No, please do. I'm intrigued.
So the white on there, the sole purpose is to make the score, the wheat stock, stand out. It pops out from the bread. You can still do a design without it, but it looks so much prettier with it.
Okay.
So I had a customer once. She picked up bread on a Friday, and I bake my bread that morning.
Right.
And she's like, I just have to ask you, the white, it's not mold, right? And I said, oh my goodness, no. I made that hours ago. It is rice flour.
Probably ask what makes it
white,
gives it that beautiful look, right?
And it's the same here on the baguette. So yeah, that was really funny, but
she was probably thinking, what the heck is going on here?
Before I got into bread, I wouldn't know what that is,
right?
So yeah, it's really beautiful. I also do a little bit of scoring on the freshly milled loaves. I don't know if you can see the etching there. Freshly milled are naturally going to be a darker loaf.
Okay.
So it's a whole wheat. It has all three parts of the wheat berry. It has the endosperm, the germ, and the bran.
I love that you're talking about ingredients. So as you're talking, before we sat down and did all this, we were talking about ingredients.
Yes.
Can I bring this up?
Yes.
I don't want to bring out the package, but I want to tell you that we started talking about ingredients and the health benefits. So I'm just going to talk about this. I don't know, something, I can't even pronounce it, mononitrate, riboflavin, ascorbic acid, sorbitan, monostrate, calcium sulfate. That does not say ammonium.
Ammonium sulfate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are all things you probably don't want in your bread, but they are in.
They're there in grocery store.
Check the label at the grocery store. Yes. They're there.
So I always say,
here.
Read your label because you want to know what's in your food. America's food supply system, our infrastructure with food, it's so unfortunate. Yeah. And, the World Cup's happening and we have athletes like bringing their food with them. Right. That's a problem. So that's another part of why I got into this. My bread has 3 ingredients, 4 if you count the rice flour on top for the decorative score, but it has good flour, it has water and sea salt. That's it.
That's it. This is what blows my mind.
I brought these to show you. These are the actual wheat berry. So a lot of us are so disconnected with where our food comes from in America that we don't know what wheat actually looks like.
Right.
I didn't actually at one point in time.
Like, that's like pellets. That's not,
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not flour.
And the cool thing is that each variety looks different. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but this one is slightly smaller, the kernel, than this one, and it's darker than this one. So here we have Khorasan, also known as kamut. And so that's a type of wheat, and it's an ancient grain. And this one is another ancient grain called spelt.
Okay.
And I love
spelt.
Yeah.
Very familiar spelt.
So this is what the wheat berry looks like before I grind it up in my mill at home, which is something that sets me apart, I think, from other people because
I would say so. Without question.
Right. While everybody offers your original classic white loaf, having a freshly milled option is a game changer for people who care about what's in their food. They care about the nutrients, the fiber, all the minerals. Freshly milled flour is so much more nutritious.
Yeah. And I mean, I want to point out that this is something, you don't make these and freeze them and people can pick them up at a later time.
Right.
When she says her baking day is that day, right, on Fridays, you are getting the freshest, best loaf, all of her products. And I can attest to that. And I'll tell you, you have a time that people pick them up.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind that your ovens must be going all day long on Friday mornings, right? What time do you start on Friday?
So I was just going to say, while it is a busy morning, I am not a 2 a.m., 3 a.m. baker. I have 2 young children. That's not my thing. I'm often up in the middle of the night, so I can't wake up that early.
Okay.
Which brings me to why my pickup hours are 3 to 7.
Right.
Because as one person, as one small business owner, that is what I'm capable of producing in a day.
You do an amazing job.
I think it's super important that people get it fresh.
Yeah.
You know, they're paying sourdough prices, a premium on bread, because it's so good for you health-wise.
So good.
That you deserve to have a crunchy loaf. Yeah. You know, that crackle.
You get that. You get it. I mean, it is, just like you said, every now and then, I'm sure all of us at one point have traveled to where you find a great patisserie or bakery, and you get that. Yes. You can't find it. It's so hard to find. But here, she has it. So let's quickly run down some of your other products, because I want everyone to know all that you do.
So I do offer a little bit of freshly milled flour. This is the whole wheat berry. If you want that, that's also available from the bakery when you pre-order. This is called a butterbell. Do you know what this is?
My best friend just taught me about a butterbell. Coolest thing ever.
So
tell everyone what it is.
I didn't know about this until I lived in France.
Okay.
And it changes everything with bread.
Game changer.
I used to hate fighting with butter when it was hard to put it on the bread. So what you do is you take butter that's slightly softened. You don't want it too soft. And then you press it into the bottom of the bell, and you put just a little bit of water in here. And so the water keeps the air out and keeps it from going rancid. And this is room temperature. And it can last that way at room temperature as long as you change the water every couple of days. Yeah, so that's called a butterbell.
It's so easy to spread.
It is so easy.
It's a definite game changer in the bread world.
I recommend it for everybody.
I recommend it for your butters. Can you use it with your compound butter?
Yeah, well, you know, that might be a little bit different with the compound butters. I say salted butter. Yes.
Okay.
So these two. So this is a garlic herb butter, and these are called compound butters. I make them at the bakery. I use grass-fed butter, and for this one, the bakery favorite, I add garlic, lots of garlic, and chives to it. And that one's good on all the savory loaves, the plain loaves too. I put it on steak at home. All my customers, they're like, I did this with it.
They're like, can we get 17 pounds of compound butter, please?
Yes, that's always a reorder for people. Now, this one is a cinnamon honey butter. And again, a compound butter. I start with only good, wholesome butter, good ingredients, grass-fed. And then I add simple ingredients, cinnamon and honey and powdered sugar. So it's like that one steak restaurant that we all know of.
Yep.
That's known for their butter.
But this one will
knock your socks off.
You're not going to go buy cinnamon butter anywhere else once you've had this one, because it's amazing. I can't even tell you how tasty it is. And you don't just want to use it on.
You could put it on pancakes.
You put it on waffles. We don't mess around with that. It's delicious.
That's my son's favorite. These are my friend's favorite, you know, in the kitchen when we're cooking.
Sweet, savory, all things.
Yeah.
All right.
So over here we have pizza dough.
Love it.
So if you're like me, I hate cooking in my home in the summertime. Even if I have it set super low inside, it heats up the house.
Yeah, sure does.
So a lot of my customers have pizza dough ovens outside.
Yeah. Oh, outside. Smart. We just actually got a pizza stone. And
And so in the wintertime, I love to make my pizza inside on my stone oven.
Okay.
And in the summer, I like to use, or I would if I needed it, a pizza oven. So I sell the pizza dough, and customers love that. You can make calzones with it. That's my family's favorite. But yeah, I offer that a few times a month as well.
Man, and if you could be here and smell how aromatic all of this is, you would, I'm telling you, I want to slice everything open here. I do want you to tell me, before we get to some of the other flavors, if you could, there's something about this bag.
Oh, yes.
That is very important. I'm going to hold this up here. Talk to me about the bags and why these are important in your process.
So this is a bag that you can go home with when you order. And what do you notice about it?
It's got a lot of holes in it.
Yeah, so that's great for bread because when you're doing something with steam in a bread oven to create that crunch, you want to preserve that crunch.
And that's what does it?
Until you get home, yes. So if you want to slip that baguette in here so we can show everybody.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Just
So,
slip it in there like that.
and like a Parisian, throw it
look,
over your back.
We're in France.
I wish it was that quick.
Right.
So this actually, it holds a lot of loaves. And so because it has holes, it won't go soft by the time you go home.
Okay.
I think that's really important. A lot of people want that crunch. That's why they're ordering
That's why
from me.
you get the good,
And so that enables that. I offer 2 bags though, because while that's good for taking it home and just carrying 3-4 loaves,
right.
this is a cotton beeswax bag. Have you heard of these before?
I've seen these from you, but I don't know
about it.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm going to learn. I have a feeling.
This one you could also take your bread home in because it has a nifty little handle. But it can take the place of a bread box. I try to keep
inside here.
Yes, please. I try to keep my counters clean, and I don't like having a lot of, big bulky things on the counter.
Sure.
That's so much prettier to look at than a bread box. And the benefits of this, when, it's empty.
Yeah.
It's gone in a drawer. But the inside, what you were taking a look at.
Yeah. What is this? What keeps it
fresh?
Okay, so I can
sealed.
Cut it.
Right. So let's say that you cut this one right here, and you only ate about a quarter of it. You want to maintain.
That would never happen. I'm going to eat at least a half.
A loaf doesn't last long in my house. No. So if you want to maintain that crunch for another day, or the day that you pick it up, this allows you to do that. It's cotton, so it's breathable.
Okay.
But the beeswax forms around the rest of the loaf. The heat of your hand molds the bag, around it.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and you just leave it on your counter. So it's the best of both worlds.
Okay, I definitely need one of those bags.
Yeah, it allows the bread to breathe and not go stale. So these are really cool. I prefer them over linen bread bags, which are pretty popular in France as well.
Right.
But I find it goes stale quite quickly.
The inside of this is I'm guessing that's what makes the difference there.
Yeah.
But wow, my friend, talk to me about the flavors that people can get from you.
Yes.
And you do a lot of seasonal. You are big. I love when you put out on your Instagram, your Facebook, everything. When she says new flavors are dropping.
So
I get excited.
I love my seasons, and one way to celebrate that is by featuring seasonal flavors.
Yeah.
I do pumpkin-shaped loaves. They're rounds. They look like a real pumpkin with a cinnamon stick in the middle for fall. I can't wait to do those again.
Yeah.
I do things like gingerbread loaves for, or even gingerbread men at Christmas time. The pumpkin spice loaf, really popular.
You love fall, right?
I'm a fall girly.
You are all about the fall because she's like, oh, I have 27 new flavors. Right?
I come alive in the fall. Right now,
I come out of my shell in the fall.
Right now in the summer, it's kind of my recoup period and product development. And then I come alive in the fall and the winter with all new flavors. Everybody loves bread, and it's warming. It's good with soup.
It's good with everything.
Yes.
Everything. There isn't a person out there that will say,
I don't like bread.
I'm not a bread fan.
Yeah.
But if you're not a bread fan, you can't be friends of ours because we love the bread, right?
Yes,
but
we do.
That's why I'm glad that we talked about all the different health benefits and, again, the diabetics that generally think that they can't eat the bread.
Right.
I'm excited. I will tell you all of her information and how you can reach out. Super easy. You order everything online. And then she has this, we're going to show you here in the video. We'll bring that up. Crazy cool little bread cottage. What do we call it? A bread greenhouse?
No, so when I first started this, I brainstormed on the name. I was like, bread shack? That doesn't sound right. But I wanted it to reflect what it is. It is my bread shed.
Bread
my she shed, but for bread.
There you go.
And it works perfectly. So as I said earlier, I'm a cottage baker. So I bake from the home. And my process on Fridays is to put all the bread out there in the bread shed right out front of the house for my customers to pick up from 3 to 7 on Fridays.
It's great. You just pull right up. They're all listed there, right? People Walk out.
Alphabetical order.
This is what I'm telling you. When I say I see the people in their cars that can't even make it to the car, you are going to understand if you've ever tried anything from Rustic Rise Sourdough Company. You will know her products are top quality.
Thank you.
You do cheesecakes.
I do cheesecake.
Cinnamon rolls. Are you still doing the cinnamon rolls?
Not as much as I used to.
Okay.
But
Special order?
Fall and winter.
Okay.
I think they're going to come back.
Okay.
Cookies as well.
Cookies.
And so I dabble in sweets, but my main thing, my love is bread, sourdough bread.
Clearly, you have mastered this. I will say that
Thank you.
Without question. So I'm very grateful. Shout out to your friend that
Got
you
me
didn't want to
into it.
take the sourdough.
Yes, I know. I'll never forget. Neither will she.
Does she get like unlimited bread now?
Yes,
Is she
and
your
her
biggest fan?
Bread and the butter with her family is a huge hit. Yeah.
Well, thank you to her. Anything else? We're going to go through our notes here to make sure, because we had so much to talk about, and we wanted people to understand, the difference too in the cottage laws. And I'm glad we covered all that and why it's so important, because you do have vigorous rules and laws you have to follow, and people are concerned about that.
Of course, as they should be.
When they buy, something from a home baker.
Yes.
Go ahead, give me the rundown.
So getting back to the products, there's so many. I wanted to highlight the most popular loaves that I do. Jalapeno cheddar, huge hit. I've started to do it in the rustic loaf form. Rustic is what I call my sandwich loaves. I find it's just so much easier, slicing it for a grilled cheese. Imagine a grilled cheese, and you're already starting with great bread with cheese and jalapenos. So anyways, jalapeno cheddar in this form is really popular. I do a brown bread.
No joke. Can you see? Look at the side. Like, this is not.
It's a 2-pound loaf. Yep.
This is not.
It's a hefty one.
Teeny tiny loaf.
No,
Yeah.
It'll last you. It'll last.
Sure.
It lasts a lot of my customers until the next pickup a week later.
Yeah.
So jalapeno cheddar is very popular.
Okay.
Rosemary, roasted garlic, brown bread, like Outback and Cheesecake Factory style.
Love that.
That's my mom's favorite.
Yep.
And Gruyere and caramelized onion is a fall winter.
Oh, there we are again with the
I
fall,
know,
but it's so good, and the flavors are throughout. It's not too overbearing, and it's not, I can't taste it all. It is perfect.
And I try my best to use wholesome ingredients, like the cheese and the jalapeno cheddar. I shred it myself. We don't want to be eating cheese that's caked in cellulose, all the preservatives. What I do is simple, and so the ingredients are wholesome and the best you can find.
All good. Yeah.
So I guess another thing we could talk about is the health benefits, again, of sourdough, because that's what really, truly makes it special and unique.
For sure.
So it's great for diabetics. It's also great for people who without health issues. It has lactic acid in it, and that is so good for our guts. 80% of our immune system lies within the gut.
Right.
And the blue zones, if you've heard of blue zones around the world, that live the longest, like in Italy and Greece.
Do they eat a ton of bread? Please tell me.
Sourdough bread. So it's the lactic acid that's so good for you. All the fermentation that makes you live forever, because that's what your body loves.
Perfect.
All of the work is done outside of your body. It's long, slowly fermented. In my bakery, it has a cold proof of 18 to 24 hours.
Love it.
That's what, makes it a 3-day process. That's so good for you. So we talked about the lactic acid. But another thing about lactic acid is that it allows the loaf to stay fresh longer. Compared to, let's say, a grocery store yeasted bread.
Right.
If you're having issues with mold, you won't have that with sourdough, because the long, slow fermentation process makes it mold resistant.
Also, you're not going to experience that, because when you get one of these, it goes like that.
There's no middleman. There's no truck.
No. And that day you're picking it up, it's fresh, and it will not last. If there is somebody that has a loaf that has lasted till the next pickup, please let me know, because I think these get eaten immediately.
They do. But if they don't, can I share a really cool trick with you?
Please. We are learning all the cool tips and tricks. Do share.
So I have a cool little tip. You're going to be skeptical at first, but do it with sourdough only. Don't do it with a yeasted grocery store loaf. Otherwise, you're going to end up with mush.
Okay.
So you take a loaf that is stale.
Okay.
And let's say you have everything but 1/4 of the loaf left. And you're almost a week out. So it's time for your next pickup, but you still want bread, a couple days before that. So it's a little hard on the outside, but also the inside. Run it underneath your faucet, all around. Put it in the oven.
Run it under the water.
Yes,
okay.
Just the faucet. If you're a little chicken, you could spray it with water too.
Okay.
But you bake it for 375, 10, 15 minutes.
Don't tell me it comes right back.
It comes back to life. Yes.
Obviously, you're not soaking it. Like
No.
you're like running it under the faucet, getting it damp, baking it at 375, and it comes back to life.
It does. So it's a little crispy on the outside, but then it's soft on the inside again. So it's called reviving the crust.
We have all these tips and tricks and tests we're going to be doing. I don't know. We're going to be testing all the breads, but we have certainly learned everything there is to learn about bread and all the products that you offer. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to her at you've got Facebook, Instagram. Talk to me about all the places where people can find you.
So Facebook, Instagram, it's Rustic Rise Sourdough Company, all spelled out with company. But if you Google me, I'm on Google. My link is on there, and that takes you directly to the ordering page.
Yeah,
so it's simple, easy to use.
Super easy. And do it. Just do it. Don't delay.
I list the menu for an entire month, so you don't have to remember to order each week.
You can order that whole month in advance?
Yep, and you get pickup reminders. I
do love those.
Yes.
That's a very cool little touch. Yep.
And so the ordering system is simple, easy to use. It is all pre-order based, although I usually bake about 10 extras of my plain artisans each week because everybody forgets every once in a while.
Yeah.
And people will DM me, do you have anything left? And I say, yes, I have 5 left. I have 2 left.
You better get in early.
They go quickly.
They do go very quickly. So if you are somebody that at the last minute, you definitely we don't talk about the last minute ones a lot because they go fast and you don't usually have too many left over. Great product. Everything you do is delicious. I love all the tips and tricks we got. If there is one video that you definitely are happy you watched, it's got to be this one, right? Front to beginning, back to end, whatever, front end, all of it, because this was so informational for us, and what a good time. I truly enjoyed having you.
Me too. I love talking about bread, so if I can get nerdy with bread, I'm
so
happy.
Passionate about bread. Well, heck yeah, you are. That's why you make such a fantastic product. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for coming in. Again, Rustic Rise Sourdough Company. And before I forget, a huge thank you also to Vista Pros Heating and Cooling as our main sponsor, because Vista Pros Heating and Cooling keeps your home comfortable so you can focus on great food and family. Local, reliable, dependable, professional, all of the above. Thanks to Vista Pros Heating and Cooling. And thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Lisa. Let's say that you cut this one right here and you only ate about 1/4 of it. You want to maintain...
That would never happen. I'm going to eat at least a half.